After decades of weaving through the scene, Cage finally stepped in as the most prominent vampire out there, finally able to sink his teeth in as the infamous Prince of Darkness. The movie opens up with a scene of a support group in abusive relationships, and among them is Renfield, who takes us to the beginning of his story, centuries ago, when he was a lawyer set to make a deal with a count that would greatly benefit his family, and the count in question was none other than the Prince of Darkness himself, Dracula. After proving himself a worthy assistant, Dracula turns Renfield into his familiar, giving him immortality and a boost of strength and speed when he consumes bugs. Hunters come and go to hunt and kill Dracula, but he always manages to escape, either through his tricks or with the help of his servants. Renfield helps Dracula escape one time as he broke the ring of salt that imprisoned him. When Dracula escapes, he turns into smoke and starts hunting, but is stopped by the sunlight that burns him. The two are on the run until Dracula regains his full strength, and on their continuous relocation, they find themselves in New Orleans. There, however, Renfield has grown weary and exhausted of bringing victims for his master, and when a member of the support group gives Renfield an idea to bring criminals as victims for his master, he feels relieved and decides that he would feel less bad delivering criminals than innocent people. He finds Mitch and his goons and knocks down two of them because Mitch gets killed by a hitman named Apache. During the process, Renfield gets sliced through his stomach, but consumes some bugs and punches Apache's head off his shoulders. Officer Rebecca Quincy and her partner Chris accidentally stumble upon the scene while on their shift. Rebecca notices Teddy as he drives away and shoots out his tires as he tries to escape and hits him in the head with her baton. However, the Lobos, yet another crime family, hires powerful lawyers to help Teddy to not spill any beans on his criminal family's operation. The case is personal because the Lobos family murdered her father, who got too close to finding everything out on his duty as an FBI agent. The scene shifts and we see Renfield bringing Mitch's friends and Apache's headless body to a very weak, decayed-looking Dracula. He rejects the bodies because they are junkies and demands Renfield to bring him healthy, innocent people. Dracula then slices Renfield where Apache sliced him, almost disemboweling him before giving him his blood, which has healthy properties. Teddy returns to his mother, Bella, the leader of the Lobos family, who tells Teddy that they need to get rid of Rebecca before she discovers their operation. Rebecca and Chris accidentally find themselves in the same restaurant as Renfield after following a lead from a pen that brought them to the restaurant where Renfield, on the other hand, went to scout for innocent people for his master. Out of nowhere, the Lobos come in guns blazing and nearly kill Rebecca, who is saved by Renfield after consuming some bugs and killing the entire group except Teddy, who gets away. This is the moment when Renfield gets smitten by Rebecca, who thanked him for saving her. Renfield returns to the lair where Dracula has consumed some victims and regained some of his strength. He also tells Renfield that he intends to dominate the world when he fully recovers, hoping to create an army of familiars that will do his bidding. Renfield returns to the group session where he talks about his relationship with Dracula, who is practically his boss, and is encouraged by the group to take steps to improve his life separate from Dracula, which also includes finding his own apartment and creating his own happiness. Rebecca brings in all the witnesses from the restaurant, but knows they are corrupt and can't get anything on them. However, Renfield shows up to give his testimony as a witness of the scene, with a bouquet of flowers for Rebecca, who later sends the pen to be processed for evidence. Bella sends Teddy and the other Lobos to go after Renfield, but they are later found in Dracula's lair, who is munching on all of them except Teddy, and when he tells him that he is there for Renfield and not him, he becomes enraged and feels betrayed by his assistant. Dracula shows up at Renfield's apartment and chastises Renfield for leaving him and wanting to become independent. Trying to defend himself with a book given to him by the support group, Dracula manages to find the location of the church where the group meets, and before Renfield can stop him, Dracula gets invited inside the session by the leader of the group, Mark. Dracula then reveals to the others who he is and devours all of them before Renfield makes it. He is arrested shortly after when Rebecca and Chris arrive at the scene, thinking that he is the one who murdered all of the members. As Rebecca is taking away Renfield, a bunch of cop cars, including one which Bella came with, confirmed her suspicion of cops working with the Lobos was indeed true, after which she shoots a transformer to create a distraction and gives both her and Renfield to escape. But not before Rebecca gets shot in the shoulder, which is not a big deal. They go to Renfield's apartment, and she keeps him in cuffs to make sure that she can trust him, and Renfield tells her everything, including his working for Dracula for centuries up until that point, and the pen says the same story, which came up connected to many murders around the world dating back centuries. The two then proceed to leave the apartment, but are swarmed by a corrupt SWAT team, which is annihilated by Renfield after consuming some bugs. Rebecca is horrified by the entire scene, but thankful for being saved. Dracula, on the other hand, agrees to join forces with the Lobos, who he thinks will be the army he needs to start his world domination. Renfield and Rebecca are out in public as Renfield tells her about his past and how he regrets leaving his wife and daughter behind. The conversation is interrupted by Dracula, who telepathically communicates with Renfield, and Rebecca calls Kate, only to have Bella answer the phone, and that she has Kate. The two arm themselves and get ready to take on Dracula and the Lobos. They arrive at the building and discover that many of the Lobos are turned into familiars with superpowers. Rebecca then rushes off to find Kate, while Renfield battles the Lobos, killing all of them, until only Teddy is left, who boasts about his powers, while Renfield tells him that they are a curse. Teddy nearly beats Renfield, who manages to catch a bug and eat it, and kills off Teddy. Rebecca, on the other hand, discovers that Kate is already dead, after being beaten to death by the Lobos. Dracula attempts to persuade Rebecca to his side, and in return, he will bring Kate back to life. She is willing to accept the deal, but in reality, she is trying to open the blinds to expose Dracula to sunlight. Renfield witnesses the entire thing, but is unable to catch up to Dracula, who flees the scene, only to turn into a bat and knock down Renfield and try to kill off Rebecca, who shoots him in the foot, causing him to bleed on Renfield, who regains his powers and proceeds to rip Dracula's fangs off and smash his face in. The two trap the Count before they rip him to shreds and dispose of his remains in cement and throw them in a sewer. The two use Dracula's blood to revive Kate, and Rebecca finally thinks that she would have made her father proud knowing that his killer, Bella, is now finally where she belongs. The movie closes with Renfield reviving all of the support group members, who are thankful but terrified by being dead. Renfield and Rebecca are shown as close friends. All the while, Renfield prepares for a new life as a free man.